Very good evening, my dear friends. If you are able to hear me, quickly give me a heads up in the chat box. Very good evening, dear friends. If you are able to hear me, just quickly give a heads up in the chat box so that we can start with today's session. I'm waiting for your heads up in the chat box. Okay, Neeraj. So Neeraj is saying you are audible. So it's great to be connected with you guys today. I know most of you guys would want to study from Anchit sir, and I'm sure कि वो आपके लिए कुछ और बेहतर plan कर रहे होंगे. He would be planning something really beautiful for you guys. So today I have been given this opportunity to discuss some of the important MCQs of commerce and accountancy for upcoming SEBI Grade A examination. Okay, so let's quickly start our discussion. So now before starting the discussion, I would like to know whether you are from a commerce background or from a non-commerce background. So if you are from a commerce background, just give me double thumbs up in the chat box. And if you are from a non-commerce background, give me a single thumbs up in the chat box so that I would get to know how I have to like communicate with you guys today. Because myself, I am a chartered accountant and I can go really deep, but I would like to know the level you guys would like me to be. Okay, I'm waiting for your heads up in the chat box. And guys, do subscribe to our YouTube channel and do join our Telegram channel for regular updates. Gaurav is saying from Commerce. And we are also running this one-time offer in which you can get flat 50% off on all the SEBI courses. Now, Ellen has given us so many thumbs up. So I think we have a mixed audience today. And so we will try to like be at the basic level and also try to discuss some things in detail. So this is the level we would be following today. Okay, Tech and Games is saying we want you to go deep and I want you to understand. So that's my basic agenda today. And with this, we are at the first question of the day. And this question is which of the following events would be recorded in the books of accounts? So let's see who gets the right answer. No problem. Even if you are from a commerce or non-commerce background, we are going to have this discussion in which we are going to talk about basics as well. And at some places, we are going to go deep as well. So I'm going to make sure each of you understand the most important aspects which are relevant for the upcoming examination. चलिए फटाफट से अपने आंसर्स दीजिए. Which of the following events would be recorded in the books of accounts? And all of you have bombarded the chat box saying purchase of stationery on credit. So guys, whenever we are talking about recording transactions in the books of accounts, we have to make sure that only monetary items they are recorded in the books of accounts. We cannot record each and every transaction in the books of accounts because books of accounts, they are basically going to be in money terms. Okay, so if a transaction is not there in monetary terms, we cannot record it. So if we talk about value of human resources of a company, it's very difficult to quantify the value of human resources. Similarly, the managerial policy is very difficult to quantify. Appointing any personnel in the company, again, you cannot quantify, you can't put a value over it. But if you have purchased stationery on credit, I have purchased stationery worth rupees 5,000 on credit, I can easily quantify it and I can easily record it in the books of accounts. So that's why the answer is going to be option number D, and all of you guys are correct. Ajay Kumar, yes, you are absolutely right. Money measurement concept is involved here. Now let's quickly move to the next question. The first step in the process of accounting is, so I'm going to talk about the first step in the process of accounting. अगर किसी ने अकाउंटिंग नहीं पढ़ा हुआ और उसे अकाउंटिंग समझना है, just think about Gada Electronics. I hope you have seen this show Tarak Mehta Ka Ulta Chashma. So just think about Gada Electronics in which Nattu Kaka, may God bless his soul. So Nattu Kaka is going to record all the accounting transactions in the books of accounts for Mr. Jethalal. So just think about from that perspective. Okay, again the chat box is full with option number A. You guys are really intelligent, way ahead of me. The first step in the process of accounting is definitely identification. You have to identify what I am going to record in the books of accounts. So in the first question itself, we identified this is a monetary transaction and we are going to record it in the books of accounts. So this is briefly all the steps which are involved in the process of accounting. So first we have to identify what are the events that are to be recorded. Next we have to measure them in monetary terms. For example, we identified key we have to record stationery. Then we would be measuring what is the amount of stationery. So suppose 5,000 is the amount of stationery, we would be recording it in our books of accounts. We have multiple books of accounts. We start with journal, which is maintained in a chronological order. It's similar to the diary that you maintained on a day-to-day basis. In accounting, we have a journal. Okay, and next we have to communicate the results to the end users of accounting information. So clearly answer is option number A, identification. Now let's come to the next question. Reliability, relevance, understandability and comparability are popularly referred to as. तो यहां पे बात हो रही है कुछ अकाउंटिंग से जुड़े हुए इंपॉर्टेंट किन चीजों की बात हो रही है, आप ही बताइए. अगर मैंने बता दिया तो आंसर पता चल जाएगा आपको. जो नट्टू काका रिकॉर्डिंग कर रहे हैं गड़ा इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स के लिए अकाउंटिंग कर रहे हैं, उस अकाउंटिंग में क्या खूबियां आपको चाहिए? सर आपने खूबियां बोल दिया, दिस इज गिवन अवे द आंसर. एंड अंशु, राजन, तनु, they are saying B, and you guys have nailed this question. This is absolutely correct. They were the first to answer it, and their answer is absolutely correct. Okay, so whenever we are talking about accounting, we are saying that this work should have certain qualities. Like if you talk about a teacher, he should have certain qualities. If you talk about like a SEBI aspirant, he should have certain qualities. Similarly, accounting information, it should have certain characteristics. And these characteristics, they are reliability. So whatever accounting information should be there, it should be reliable. We should be able to verify the source of that particular information. So if Nattu Kaka is recording the sale of a mobile phone in the books of accounts, so there must be a sale voucher, there must be a bill from which he would be entering this transaction. Also, the accounting information should be relevant. Now suppose you have invested in a company, okay, and you get the financials of a company, you get the balance sheet of that company, and in that balance sheet, in that balance sheet, suppose it is mentioned 10 erasers, it is mentioned 10 eraser, 5 pencil, 5 pen. So if things like these are mentioned in so much of detail, they are not going to be relevant for you. Quite simply, we can easily mention, okay, this is stationery. We can just simply put one value for stationery instead of putting each and every stationery item separately. So we have to make sure the accounting information is relevant for the end users. Similarly, it should be understandable to end users. We have to make sure that whatever information we are giving to the end users, they should be able to understand it. And at the same time, comparability is also important. So if you take a look at the financials of any company, you would see that if it has reported the financials for 2021, it should have also reported the financials for 2020. So for both these years, financials are given so that comparison can be easily done. Okay, so these are qualitative characteristics of accounting. It has been answer has been wrongly mentioned here, option number D. It's not D, it is option number B. सर आप बहुत डिटेल में चले जाते हो समझाते हुए, because I want you guys to be aware about each and everything. But अगर आपको लगे कि सर डिटेल में मत जाओ, तो you can easily mention in the chat box. Even if one person says कि सर डिटेल में जाओ, I would go into detail. चलिए next question है जी, which among the following would be classified as external user of accounting information? So whatever accounting information we have created, people would be using that accounting information. So let's see if you are able to maintain your momentum in this question as well. Very short questions. STML, Avinash, Vinayak, Nilesh, Anshu, you are saying option number C. You guys are on form today. You guys are in absolute form today. Securities and Exchange Board of India, sir, ये external user होगा, ये internal user नहीं होगा. So it's very simple. Whatever accounting information is being generated in the organization, so if it is being generated for people within the organization, it is going to be internal information. They are going to be internal users. And similarly, there are going to be some people outside the organization who are going to have a look at the financials of the entity. For example, for every listed company there, SEBI would be interested in the financials. So SEBI is not there inside the company, but still it is having a look at the financials of the company. So we are going to call SEBI an external user. So here is the classification. So these all they are internal users, and these all they are external users. Okay, so quickly, internal users include chief executive, CEO, CFO, vice president, managers, and all. So they are going to be internal. And external, they are going to be maybe your investors, maybe tax authorities, maybe different regulatory agencies, including SEBI, stock exchange, etc. So they are going to be external users. Monica, we are going to go into detail, so do not worry about it. I just want your support, guys. We are going to go into detail. Don't worry about it. So now let's come to the next question and let's see who is able to give me right answer for this one. Now this is the real test for you guys. The first four, they were warm-up questions and you have answered them correctly. But now comes the real test. And now let's see if you are able to answer this one correctly. So let's see who is the first to give me the right answer for this one. Accounting is an information system. So accounting is basically a system which is having lots of information. Now this information is coming into the system and this information is being ultimately distributed to the users. Nilesh Suryavanshi, Suraksha Verma, Rishabh, Gaurav Pandey, you all can pat your backs because you guys are absolutely correct. You guys are absolutely correct. The answer is option number B. So here are the different versions of accounting. जैसे हमारे हिंदू mythology में कहते हैं ना कि भगवान के अनेक रूप हैं, वैसे accounting के भी अनेक रूप होते हैं. So accounting is a language as well. Accounting is a record. It is a historical record of the transactions. Accounting is a current economic reality. Accounting is an information system. Now this term is specifically mentioned in your SEBI syllabus, so you should be aware about it. Ki accounting is a process that is going to link the source of the information. Information is going to come into the system. Who is going to bring in information into the system? Nattu Kaka is going to enter the transaction into books of accounts. So accountant is going to bring in this information, and ultimately this information is going to be processed and the financials are going to be generated, which are going to be relevant for the external users of the company. So this is about accounting being an information system. Accounting is also a commodity or a service which is there in society these days. We can see different accounting softwares, ClearText and all. So they are also making accounting as a commodity. So answer is option number B. Priyanka is saying surprised to see you here, sir. Pleased also. Okay, Neha. Neha is telling me to keep quiet, so I will remain quiet. Can I just quickly whisper the question? Because I have this bad habit. I'm sorry, Neha. Capital is one of the important accounting terminology. Which of the following is incorrect about capital? I hope you guys have like heard about this term. All the accounting people, commerce people would have definitely heard about it. Now every one of you is correct. From Rishabh to Lakshmi, all of you. No, Lakshmi is not right. Except Lakshmi. Yeah, all of you are absolutely correct. So basically, if you look at the balance sheet of the company, if you try to simplify the balance sheet of the company, okay, so if this is how the balance sheet is going to look like. So this is how the balance sheet is going to look like. This balance sheet is going to have sides. One side is going to be the asset side. The other side is going to be having your capital and your liability. So this capital is basically the amount that the owners of the company they have put in the company. So amount that Jethalal has invested in Gada Electronics is going to be written on this particular side. So this is the asset side and this is the liability side. You guys would be wondering कि Jethalal is the owner of the company and the amount which he is putting in Gada Electronics, we are showing it on the liability side. Liability is some sort of an obligation. Okay, so there is this concept which is used in accounting. This is called as the business entity concept. This concept says owner and the business, they are separate things. So whatever money the owner is giving to the business, it is a liability for the business and it is going to be shown on the liability side of the balance sheet. So let us quickly read all the options. Let us quickly read all the options. So first is amount invested by the owner. बिल्कुल जेठालाल जो amount invest करेंगे, it is going to be capital. And this capital जेठालाल हो सकता है cash में ले आए, हो सकता है घर में एलसीडी पड़े वही ला के शोरूम में रख दें, तो इट कैन आल्सो बी इन द फॉर्म ऑफ एसेट्स, एंड दिस इज बेसिकली एन ऑब्लिगेशन. This is basically an obligation for the business entity, and it is going to be shown on the liability side. So answer is going to be option number D. Yes, Ellen is absolutely right. Ellen is absolutely right. Okay, now let's come to the next question. Which of the following is incorrect in respect of accounting principles? And now I am going to be quiet. So now we are going to let Neha concentrate. Neha is going to regret. She's going to regret. So accounting principles. So for each and every system out there, we have certain principles. You have studied management, so you got to know there are certain principles behind management. And for accounting as well, we have some principles which are in place. Nilesh is saying none of the above, but Vinayak, Rishabh, and Rishabh, you are saying option number C should be correct. Option number C should be correct. And this is something which I was just explaining in the previous question. So it was a test for you guys कि जो previous question में explain किया, आपने सही से समझा या नहीं समझा. So जिन्होंने ऑप्शन सी दिया उन्होंने सही से समझ लिया. They are with me today and they are going to ace the next SEBI Grade A examination. Okay, so if you take a look at the different options which are given here, so it says only those transactions and happenings in an organization which can be expressed in terms of money are to be recorded. Okay, तो मैंने आपको पहले ही बताया था कि money में जो रिकॉर्ड होगा वही आएगा books of accounts में. Accounting period. So we have a accounting period. आप कोई भी books of accounts, कोई भी financial statements, if you are going to open them, so you are going to see profit and loss for the period financial year ending 31st March 2021. So they are going to be prepared for a period. This is the accounting period. And option number C, accounting records are made in the books of accounts from the point of view of the owner and not that of the business unit. So just now I told you guys the owner and business unit, they are two separate things. So whatever we are going to record, we are going to record from the point of view of the business unit. Money put in by the owner is going to be shown on the liability side. So a test for you guys, which some of you have failed, but don't worry, we are going to make you perfect. Okay, don't worry about it. Accounting transaction should be recorded in an objective manner, free from the bias of accountants and others. So this is absolutely true. Answer is option C. Now next question. Which accounting assumption allows you to charge from the revenues of a period only that part of the asset which has been consumed or used to earn that revenue in that period and carry forward the remaining amount to the next years over the estimated life of the asset? अरे बाप रे, किसी को ब्लॉक करना पड़ेगा. How to block this person? Yeah. Okay, it's done. So now I'm waiting for your answers. Vinayak is saying A and others are saying E. E वाले absolutely right हैं. E वाले absolutely right हैं. So we are being asked about the accounting assumption which says कि जो पार्ट आपने एसेट का कंज्यूम किया ड्यूरिंग द ईयर आप उसे ही अपनी बुक्स में लिखो, बाकी को आप कैरी फॉरवर्ड करो नेक्स्ट ईयर के अंदर. So let's take an example. So what Mr. Jethalal does, so he buys a furniture. He sees कि नटू काका जो है ना वो अच्छी सी जगह पे नहीं बैठते, तो उनके लिए एक अच्छा सा फर्नीचर लेके आए. अब ये फर्नीचर जो है ना ये काफी समय चलने वाला है. इट इज गोइंग टू स्टे इन द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन लेट्स से 5 years, and this furniture is costly. Let's suppose it is of 1 lakh. So entire 1 lakh is not going to be put into the books of accounts in 1 year only. Okay, so if we are preparing a profit and loss account, if we are talking about our expenses and income, then we are not going to write entire 1 lakh as the expense. We are going to bifurcate this expense. Let me quickly switch on the charger. I don't know how I've forgotten it. Just give me a second, guys. Yeah. Now, so what I was telling you कि the furniture जो आपने purchase किया, you are not going to write entire 1 lakh as an expense in your year. You are going to divide it. You are going to say write 20,000 every year. Now, why you are doing this? You are doing this because the business is going to run for a long period of time. You are not going to shut the business very soon. It's not going to happen कि business एक साल बाद जेठालाल जी बंद कर देंगे. वो business तो उन्होंने टप्पू को भी देना आगे चलाने के लिए. So business is not going to be shut down. So anything you are expending for the business, you are going to divide it over the useful life. So this is the going concern concept. कोई आएगा कोई जाएगा, but business तो चलता जाएगा. So this is the concept of going concern. नेहा, डोंट वरी, वी आर गोइंग टू एक्सप्लेन इट, डोंट वरी अबाउट इट. आगे एक्सप्लेन करते हैं, क्वेश्चन आएगा उसमें एक्सप्लेन करेंगे. चलो नेहा, आप फटाफट से इस क्वेश्चन पे आ जाओ, फटाफट से नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन पे आ जाओ. सो द क्वेश्चन इज ऑन 1 Feb 2022. अरे बाप रे, भी 3 दिन पहले ही किसी ने कुछ खरीदा है. क्या खरीदा है? An old plant was purchased for rupees 50 lakh by Rama Enterprise, which is into the business of manufacturing soaps. An amount of rupees 20,000 was spent on transporting the plant to the factory. So you have a factory, you have bought a plant worth rupees 50 lakh, and now you have spent rupees 20,000 on transporting it to the factory site. And in addition, you bought the old plant and you have to spend some amount, rupees 30,000, on repairs of that plant, and also you have to spend rupees 25,000 on the installation as well. So what amount is going to be recorded in the books of accounts? Nikhil, absolutely right. Nikhil is absolutely right. All of you are absolutely right. Matching principle की भी बात कर लेंगे. Don't worry about it. I saw some message in there. Okay. चलिए, तो बिल्कुल ऐसे ही है. जो अकाउंटिंग बैकग्राउंड के नहीं है उनके लिए समझना बिल्कुल आसान है. सो इट्स लाइक दिस कि आपने फ्लिपकार्ट से टीवी ऑर्डर किया है ना, फ्लिपकार्ट से टीवी ऑर्डर किया. जब आपने टीवी ऑर्डर किया तो उसकी कॉस्ट आ रही थी फ्लिपकार्ट पे कितनी? 20,000 रुपीज आ रही थी. अब उन्होंने कहा कि डिलीवरी चार्ज लगेगा. उन्होंने डिलीवरी चार्ज लगाया, कितना लगाया? 250 लगाया. और जब वो पर्सन आपके घर पे टीवी दे गए, आपको कॉल आया कि सर इंस्टॉलेशन के लिए आना है. आपने कहा जाओ. इंस्टॉलेशन के लिए आए आपके घर पे, वो 500 रुपीज आपसे और ले गए. आपके दोस्त का फोन आया, टीवी कितने का पड़ा? आप क्या बताएंगे उसे? 20,000 बताएंगे या 20,750? यू आर गोइंग टू say to him rupees 20,000 or 2,750. So you are going to say कि टीवी मुझे 2,750 का पड़ा. So this is what this accounting concept is about. It's very simple, it's very logical. So if you are purchasing any plant, you have to make sure कि उससे related जो भी expenditure आप कर रहे हैं तो उसको भी आपको उसकी cost में include करना चाहिए. And this is a cost concept. This is the cost concept. We have different accounting concepts, and this one is the cost concept which is explained here. Okay, so this is due to the cost concept. Answer is 5075, which you guys have answered correctly. So 50 lakh में हमने 20,000 ऐड किया, 30,000 ऐड किया और 25 ऐड किया. So it came out to 5075. Answer option B. Yeah, this is historical cost concept or cost concept. Now let's come to the next question. Suppose the firm purchases a machine worth rupees 10 lakh on credit. It will, बताइए, एसेट लायबिलिटी. अकाउंटिंग तो बस यही है, डेबिट क्रेडिट एसेट लायबिलिटी. और अब मैं चुप हो जाता हूं. चलिए, तो फर्म ने मशीन परचेज करी है 10 लाख की क्रेडिट पे. सर क्रेडिट मतलब क्या है? क्रेडिट मतलब उधारी पे, उधार पे परचेज करी है. तो 10 लाख की मशीन परचेज करी है, तो व्हाट इफेक्ट इज इट इज गोइंग टू हैव? Amruta, we just added all the numbers which were there, so no difficult calculation. अरे बाप रे, I'm seeing all option number C's are there. You guys are really intelligent. Okay, you guys are really intelligent. अरे non-commerce वाले भी आंसर दे रहे हैं या only commerce people they are dominating this session? I want non-commerce people to understand things. If you are not able to understand, you can simply mention in the chat box. Okay, we are going to make sure कि आपको भी समझ में आए. जिनको समझ में आना चाहिए उनको तो आना ही चाहिए ना. तो यहाँ पे मशीन परचेज किया है रुपीज 10 लाख का. नाउ दिस मशीन इज एन एसेट फॉर द एंटरप्राइज. तो यहाँ पे मशीन को हम एसेट में डालेंगे. सो एसेट इज गोइंग टू इंक्रीज, बट आपने उधार पे लिया, आपने क्रेडिट पे लिया, so your obligation is also going to rise, so your liability is also going to rise. It is also going to rise, so that's why the answer is going to be option number C. Yeah, Meenakshi, I'm not able to get your point. Are you talking about company law? Like what sections are you talking about here? We do not have sections in accounting, we have those in company law. So this is the dual aspect concept. Okay, this is the dual aspect concept. तो मेरे पास पहले क्वेरी भी आया था. तो dual aspect concept का मतलब भी यही होता है कि जो भी आपकी अकाउंटिंग ट्रांजैक्शन हो रही है तो उसके दो पहलू होंगे, दो एस्पेक्ट्स होंगे। तो यहाँ पे आपने देखे कि क्या दो एस्पेक्ट्स थे, एक साइड पे आपका एसेट इंक्रीज हुआ और दूसरी साइड पे योर लायबिलिटी आल्सो गॉट इंक्रीज्ड। ओके, सो दिस इज द डुअल एस्पेक्ट कांसेप्ट। तो आपको उम्मीद करता हूं ये डुअल एस्पेक्ट कांसेप्ट भी क्लियर हो गया होगा। ओके, so answer is option number C. Answer is option number C. And now let's come to the next question. Under the accrual basis of accounting, accrual basis of accounting. Now this may be a new term for people from non-commerce background. Accrual basis of accounting. So let's try to understand what this basis of accounting is about. Okay, now let's suppose Jethalal. Now Jethalal ji क्या कर रहे हैं यहाँ पे? I'm getting answers as option number A, and one answer is option E, two answers is option E, and one D as well. So slight confusion in this question. So let's try to understand it. So let's suppose कि जो जेठालाल जी हैं, he got some goods on credit. Okay, let's suppose he bought 10 LCDs on credit. Okay, and these 10 LCDs they are costing to him. Let's suppose one LCD is costing to him 10,000. So this is going to be 1 lakh. Now he has sold these 10 LCDs. Customers come to the shop. 10 customers come to the shop, and they have bought these 10 LCDs. Okay, now I am talking about this 31st March 2021. ओके, सो 31st मार्च 2021 को जेठालाल जी ने 10 LCDs लिए, ओके, 1 लाख के, और ये उन्होंने क्रेडिट पे लिए, इसकी पेमेंट अभी उन्होंने नहीं करी है, बट कस्टमर्स आए, साथ के साथ वो LCDs उनके बिक गए और उनको उसके बदले कैश मिल गया. सो व्हेन आई एम गोइंग टू कंप्यूट द प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी ऑफ जेठालाल, ओके, on one side I am going to mention his income. I am going to say okay, सेल हमारी कितनी हुई, सेल हमारी, let's suppose कि उन्होंने जो LCD थे उनको 15,000 पर LCD बेचा, तो सेल उनकी यहाँ पे कितनी हो गई, 1,50,000 हो गई. अब यहाँ पे मेरे पास क्वेरी है कि whether I should put 1 lakh here, whether I should recognize this expense of 1 lakh here or not. Now if I am not recognizing this expense, my profit is going to be, how much my profit is going to be, it's going to be 1,50,000. But is my profit 150,000? No. Actually, my profit is only 50,000. 1 lakh I paid, 150 I got, so 50,000 is actually my profit. So it is advisable कि even if you have not paid for any transaction, you should record that transaction in the books of account so that your profit it is the profit figure is accurate. So I will be mentioning here purchases of 1 lakh and the profit is going to come out to 50,000 only. So here what I am doing, I am going to make sure कि मेरे जो भी revenue और cost हो रहे हैं, they are recognized in the period in which they occur. मेरा expense incur हो गया, I am going to record in this period. I am going to record in my profitability statement of 31st March 2021. Okay, so this is what I am doing. I am not considering कि मैंने उनकी payment कब की, rather than when they are paid. So this is the accrual basis of the accounting. So that's why the answer is option number A. Okay, so this is the correct answer. The others are not correct. And we should not go into like others because they may confuse some people. So option number A is correct for this one. I don't know why some of you answered option number E. Okay, next question. Next question, if the assets of an enterprise are rupees 6,80,000 and outsiders claims are rupees 1,30,000, then the value of capital would be. So I have already told to you कि यहाँ पे whenever we are preparing this balance sheet, we have assets on one side and we have liabilities on the other side. Okay, so we are being told कि हमारे जो assets हैं they are 6,80,000. Okay, and we are being told the outsiders claims they are basically our liabilities, they are 1,30,000. Answers are coming option number B, and you guys have nailed this question as well. Okay, and now a very important thing you have to remember कि जो balance sheet है, total of both the sides is going to match. Okay, now the total of one side it is 6,80,000 and the total of the other side it should also be 6,80,000. So basic maths you have to do. 6,80,000 total hoga, 130 is the liability, so balancing figure is going to be your capital, so this is going to be 5,50,000. Now this is also referred to as the accounting equation. So this is the accounting equation. So accounting equation is written as something like this. Your assets are equal to liability plus capital. So this is your basic accounting equation, and this is simply being taken from the balance sheet, and it is also sometimes referred to as balance sheet equation. Okay, so you can write this equation in different ways. This is something you have to remember. You can also write it as assets minus liability is equal to capital, and this is what we did in this particular question. So this is how the answer came out to 5,50,000. Okay, Lakshmi, I hope you have understood it now. Answer is going to be option number B. Yes, you have corrected it. Okay, now let's come to the next question. Let's see. Question number 13, lucky or unlucky for you guys. Which of the following is a true regarding the rules of debit and credit? तो दोस्तों अकाउंटिंग में प्लस माइनस नहीं चलते, अकाउंटिंग में तो डेबिट क्रेडिट चलता है. Capital is a sort of liability. It's an internal liability, not an external one. And a simple request for you guys, if you are enjoying this session, if you are able to understand it, I want to know if you're able to understand it. So just give me a thumbs up in the chat box. Just give me a thumbs up in the chat box if you are able to understand all these questions, all the concepts involved. Okay, I'm getting the answer is option number A and E. So there is this confusion which is going on. I'm going to explain the rules of debit and credit in a very simple fashion. You just have to learn one. You just have to learn one. Sir, explain to कीजिए. I'm waiting for the thumbs up in the chat box. चलिए आपके थम्स अप फटाफट से आ जाएंगे और अब हम बात करते हैं डेबिट और क्रेडिट की. यस, विनायक या Vinayak is the one. Okay. Yeah, everyone is giving the thumbs up. That's really great to see. So debit or credit, accounting के plus minus है. In accounting we do not have plus minus. We have debit and credit. सर इतने सारों को learn कौन करेगा? I am going to just tell you one, and बाकी सब आप खुद अपने आप से derive कर लेंगे. आपको खुद से पता चल जाएंगे. Okay, I am just going to tell you कि if your asset is going to increase, so if you have bought machinery, you have bought furniture, then this is going to be debited. Okay, this is going to be debited. This is how this accounting transaction is recorded. If you have bought machinery, and let's suppose you have bought machinery for rupees 1 lakh and you have paid for it in cash, so this is how we record it: machinery debit, and let's simplify it: machinery debit, cash credit 1 lakh. Okay, so this is how you are going to record it. Okay, so if your asset machinery is going to be increased, you are going to debit it. Okay, increase in asset is debited. You just have to learn this one. बाकी सब आपको आसानी से खुद ब खुद समझ में आ जाएंगे. आइए मैं आपको दिखाता हूं. तो एसेट का इंक्रीज अगर आपका हुआ तो आपको डेबिट करना है. ठीक है, तो दिस यू हैव टू लर्न. तो एक तरफ हमारी बैलेंस शीट में एसेट साइड होती है और एक तरफ लायबिलिटी साइड होती है. तो अगर एसेट का इंक्रीज आप डेबिट कर रहे हैं तो दूसरी साइड पे अगर इंक्रीज हो रहा है तो क्या करेंगे? सर वी आर गोइंग टू डू ऑपोजिट. वी आर गोइंग टू क्रेडिट. So if liability or capital is going to increase, we are going to credit it. So liability increase, देखिए credit लिखा है, and capital का increase, it is also written credit. Okay, so it's very simple to remember. Now whatever income the business is making, whatever income the business is generating, it ultimately belongs to the owner. तो यहाँ पे गड़ा इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स में जो भी इनकम हो रही है, it ultimately belongs to Mr. जेठालाल. Now this income is basically a liability for the गड़ा इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स कंपनी के लिए liability है. एंड इनकम अगर आपकी हो रही है तो आप क्या करेंगे? लायबिलिटी अगर इंक्रीज हो रही थी तो क्रेडिट कर रहे थे, तो इनकम भी अगर हमारी हो रही है तो उसको भी क्रेडिट ही करना चाहिए. वी शुड आल्सो क्रेडिट इट. सो इनकम इंक्रीज इज आल्सो गोइंग टू बी credited. Just understand the linkage here between capital and income. And if income increase is going to be credited, the expense increase is going to be debited. Okay, if you are from a non-commerce background, just listen to it after the class as well. You are going to understand it. Okay, आपने simply learn करना है कि increase in asset is debited. Rest all your mind is going to automatically derive. So that's how I have tried to explain here. So all these they are correct. Increase in asset is debited. तो अगर asset decrease होगा, उल्टा करेंगे, credit करेंगे. Increase liability credit, decrease liability debit, and similarly for expenses and for incomes. So answer is option number E, all of the above. Let's come to the next question. Yeah, Abhinav Sunny, you can also write this way as well. Okay, it's really great to see the response from you guys. Which of the following is incorrect in respect of capital expenditure and revenue expenditure? ब्रिलियंट माइंड्स कह रहे समझ नहीं आया. आपका माइंड इतना ब्रिलियंट है, फिर कैसे समझ में नहीं आया आपको? चलिए क्लास के बाद दोबारा से डिस्कस कर लेंगे, डोंट वरी अबाउट इट. अनिल कुमार, वी आर गोइंग टू टॉक अबाउट दीज लेटर. Now this question is only for the intellectuals. Okay, so many intellectuals in here. Neha, Vinayak, Suraksha, Anshu, all are saying option number E is incorrect. You have to read the question carefully. We are asking which is incorrect. तो कौन सी statement यहाँ पे गलत है? You have to identify that. Now there are two types of expenditure. One is capital expenditure and one is revenue expenditure. So let's learn about these. कि अगर आप अपने घर के लिए रेफ्रिजरेटर खरीद रहे हो, if you are going to the market and buying a fridge for your home, buying a washing machine, buying a air conditioner for your home, now this is going to be in your home for a long period of time. So now you are going to call it capital expenditure. And if you are going to the market, you bought a packet of Maggi, you bought some dal, you bought some pulses and all, so they are revenue expenditure. Okay, so they are revenue expenditure. You are going to continue, you are going to have to continuously incur them. आपकी मैगी, आपकी दाल खत्म हो जाएगी तो आपको वापस से you would have to repurchase it. Okay, so whatever capital expenditure we are doing, we are going to enjoy the benefits for more than one accounting period. So one is absolutely right. रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर की अगर हम बात करें तो हमें उसका जो बेनिफिट है, इट इज ओनली अवेलेबल फॉर अ पर्टिकुलर अकाउंटिंग पीरियड. कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर दे आर नॉन रिकरिंग. अगर आपने एसी, वॉशिंग मशीन, फ्रिज खरीदा, यू आर नॉट गोइंग टू परचेज देम अगेन एंड अगेन, सो दे आर नॉन रिकरिंग. रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर्स दे आर रिकरिंग इन नेचर. आपको दोबारा से खरीदना पड़ेगा मैगी, पल्सेस एटसेट्रा. ओके, ऑल रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर्स इवेंचुअली बिकम कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर. ये आपकी गलत है. लेट्स ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाई दिस इज रॉन्ग. नाउ सपोज जो गड़ा इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स के लिए वी बॉट दिस फर्नीचर. ओके, हमने फर्नीचर खरीदा. नाउ दिस फर्नीचर इज अ कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर. ओके, आई हैव जस्ट एक्सप्लेन टू यू कि आपके लिए जो ज्यादा समय चीज चलने वाली, एक से ज्यादा पीरियड में चलने वाली, इट इज अ कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर. योर एसेट्स आर बेसिकली योर कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर. तो हमने फर्नीचर परचेज किया. नाउ दिस फर्नीचर 1 लाख का फर्नीचर था, और 1 लाख का फर्नीचर हमने कैसे रिकॉर्ड किया? हमने एवरी ईयर 20,000 जो है इसको रिकॉर्ड कर लिया. वन शॉट में 1 लाख नहीं डाला, एवरी ईयर 20,000 डाला. Now this 20,000 every year, what are we trying to do? We are trying to make this capital expenditure as a revenue expenditure. तो 1 लाख का कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर था, we have divided it into 5 revenue expenditures of rupees 20,000 each. So all capital expenditure ultimately become revenue expenditure. तो हमने कहा कि एक साल का खर्चा कितना हुआ, तो हमने कहा रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर कितना हुआ. So that's why option number E is incorrect. This is the distinction between the two, and the answer is option number E. Answer is option number E. You guys have answered it correctly. Next is question number 15. Which of the following is are correctly matched? So guys, तो यहाँ पे नट्टू काका जब अकाउंटिंग करते हैं, जैसे हमने सेल किया टीवी का, हमने फर्नीचर खरीदा, तो हमारी जो ट्रांजैक्शन होती है, इट इज इनिशियली रिकॉर्डेड इन जर्नल. जर्नल में ट्रांजैक्शन इनिशियली रिकॉर्ड होती है. ऑप्शन नंबर ई. Majority of you are saying, and you guys are absolutely correct. I should say all of you are saying. Very intelligent audience we have today. So that transaction is going to be first recorded in the journal. So it's very similar to the diary that you keep. So whatever day-to-day events are happening, you are writing in your diary. Okay, so this is the book of original entry. So every original transaction is being inputted into journal. Now next, this every transaction is going to be transferred to a separate account. So we have a separate account for furniture. We have maintained a separate account for furniture. We have a separate account for machinery. We have a separate account for goods. It is known by different names, purchases, sales and all. So all these transactions, they are going to be transferred to their different accounts, and they are technically referred to as the ledger accounts. So ledger is basically a principal book of the accounting system. And then ultimately at the end of the year, we are going to have so many accounts, so many balances, and all these balances at the end of the year. So furniture ka balance hoga, machinery ka balance hoga, goods ka balance hoga. We may have paid salaries as well, we may have paid rent as well. So all these expenses are going to have some balance at the end of the year. So ultimately we are going to write all these balances in a trial balance, and we are going to check whether all these balances they eventually get totaled up. We have already understood that every transaction, it has two aspects. So whatever transaction would have happened, it is going to have two aspects. So the trial balance, it is going to be divided into two parts. One aspect debit and other aspect credit, and this trial balance should tally at the end of the year. If it tallies, it basically makes sure कि आपने जो भी transactions record किया उनको correctly record किया, सबके दोनों aspects आपने एक books में record कर दिए. And from this trial balance, we are ultimately going to prepare our balance sheet and our profit and loss statement. So this is how the transactions they are recorded. So here the answer is going to be option number E, all of the above. All of the above. Brilliant Minds is saying कि only 20,000 is recorded and the owner pays rupees 1 lakh for furniture. हाँ, तो अगर आपने 20,000 अगर आपने cash pay कर दिया तो 80,000 is going to be your liability, which you are going to pay at the end of the year. Okay. Now we have this next question. A bill of rupees 2750 for extension of building was debited to building repair account. This is a case of. This is a case of. Yeah, we are going to transfer to trial balance. Now I just explained to you guys कि trial balance के अंदर debit and credit they should match because every transaction it has two aspects. So ultimately all the debits and credits they should match. But sometimes we do commit some errors. We are humans and humans do commit some errors. Nilesh is saying B and others are saying C. Some B, some C. Confusion is going on. So its confusion is कि commission होगा या principal होगा. So error of omission तो नहीं होगा because we have recorded this transaction. अगर record ही नहीं करते तो it would have been error of omission. Okay. So now we are confused between commission or principal. Commission or principal. Okay. So I have just explained to you the historical cost principle, the costing concept I have explained to you. Now as per this concept, if you are doing some capital expenditure, अगर आपने building से related कोई खर्चा किया, so that should be part of your building. Okay, तो अगर आपने building की, यहाँ पे क्या किया, आपने building को extend किया, so you have extended the building. Okay, and on that extension you have spent 2750. Now this extension is going to be a capital expenditure and is going to give you benefits for a long period of time. So you should record it in the balance sheet under the building account. But what you are doing, you are simply recording it as the repair of the building and you are transferring the entire amount to your profit and loss account, the profit and loss statement. So this should not be done. So what have you done? You have committed an error of principle. You have ignored this principle and that's why this is going to be error of principle. So these are the errors which are going to be there. तो error of commission कौन सा होता है? अगर आपने transactions को wrongly post कर दिया, तो ट्रांजेक्शन को डेबिट साइड पोस्ट करना था, क्रेडिट साइड पोस्ट कर दिया, टोटलिंग गलत हो गई. तो ऑल दीज देयर एरर्स ऑफ कमीशन. ओमिशन का मतलब है रिकॉर्ड ही नहीं किया ट्रांजेक्शन को और आपने आधा रिकॉर्ड किया, वो भी इसमें आता है. एरर ऑफ प्रिंसिपल, आपने अकाउंटिंग प्रिंसिपल्स को वायलेट किया. कंपनसेटिंग एरर्स मतलब कि आपने इस तरीके से एरर किया कि आपका ट्रायल बैलेंस तो टैली हो रहा है बट अल्टीमेटली यू हैव कमिटेड सम मिस्टेक और हो सकता है कि वो आपको पता भी ना चले. So that's why the answer is going to be option number C. So this is an error of principle. Yeah, this is an error of principle. चलिए फटाफट से नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन की तरफ आते हैं. सो आ गए हैं पर्सनल रियल नॉमिनल पे. तो वी हैड सम क्वेरीज अबाउट द डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स. सो दिस क्वेश्चन इज व्हिच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग इज इनकरेक्टली मैच्ड. So in accounting, we have these three types of account: personal, real, and nominal. I'm getting the answer is option number D. Preeti is saying option number C. So personal account कौन से होते हैं? Personal account they are going to belong to some person. Okay, so they are going to be personal account. Real account, they are basically the accounts of your assets and liabilities. Nominal accounts, they are the accounts belonging to expenses or your gains. So you have paid some rent, so this is going to be your nominal account. Salary pay किया, it is going to be your nominal account. Okay, तो अगर आपने asset purchase किया, तो it is going to be a real account. Machinery, furniture, they are going to be real account. And personal account, you have purchased machinery from Ram. Okay, so RAM is basically going to be a personal account here. But the beauty of this distinction कि पर्सनल अकाउंट को फर्दर वी हैव टू क्लासीफाई इट. पर्सनल अकाउंट को फर्दर हम 3 में क्लासीफाई करते हैं. कौन सी 3 में क्लासीफाई करते हैं? आइए समझाता हूं आपको. तो हमारे जो पर्सनल अकाउंट होते हैं उनको हम 3 में क्लासीफाई करते हैं. वन इज नेचुरल पर्सनल अकाउंट. तो अगर आपने राम से कुछ खरीदा, कुमार से कुछ खरीदा, एडम से कुछ खरीदा, सो दे बिलोंग टू नेचुरल पीपल, सो दे आर नेचुरल पर्सनल अकाउंट। कुमार, एडम ये सब चल सकते हैं, नेचुरल लोग हैं, तो ये नेचुरल पर्सनल अकाउंट होंगे। इसके बाद आपने किसी कंपनी से खरीदा, किसी क्लब से खरीदा, तो कंपनी जो है आपको चलती हुई नहीं दिखेगी, यू आर नॉट गोइंग टू सी अ कंपनी वॉकिंग इन द स्ट्रीट, so this company is basically an artificial person, so this is going to be an artificial personal account. And we also have some representative personal account. Now suppose your salary expense, you have not paid it at the end of the year, rupees 20,000 was your salary expense and you have still not paid it. We call it outstanding salary account. Now this salary is outstanding to, let's suppose it to 5 workers, it is outstanding. Okay, so A, B, C, D, E, 5 workers, this salary is pending, and we are not going to write A, B, C, D, E. अलग से हम नहीं मेंशन करेंगे अपनी बुक्स ऑफ अकाउंट्स में, because we are not going to put in irrelevant information. We are going to club all of these together and just write 20,000 in the books of accounts. Now this 20,000 is representative of, it is representing the salary which is not yet paid. So all these accounts, salary prepaid account, salary not yet paid, salary outstanding account, they are representing some class of employees. So ultimately they are going to be representative personal account. Okay, so that's why the account of a private company, it is going to be artificial personal account. It is not a tangible real account. Okay, तो real account के अंदर भी, let me quickly tell you, real account के अंदर भी हम कई बार क्लासिफिकेशन करते हैं टेंजिबल एंड इनटेंजिबल के अंदर। टेंजिबल का क्या मतलब होता है? टेंजिबल इज समथिंग जिसको आप टच कर सकते हैं, आप छू सकते हैं, तो आपकी मशीनरी, फर्नीचर, वो आपका टेंजिबल हो गया। एंड इफ यू हैव सम एसेट्स, इफ यू कैन नॉट टच देम, तो वो आपके इंटेंजिबल हो जाएंगे। सपोज यू हैव अ ट्रेडमार्क, यू हैव अ पेटेंट, दे आर कॉल्ड एज द इंटेंजिबल एसेट्स। तो कई बार रियल अकाउंट को वी डिवाइडेड इनटू टू, टेंजिबल एंड इंटेंजिबल। ओके, सो प्राइवेट कंपनी इज एन आर्टिफिशियल पर्सनल अकाउंट, और इसीलिए आपका वो आंसर बना था। हाँ, प्रीपेड एक्सपेंस आपका एसेट होता है, आउटस्टैंडिंग एक्सपेंस आपकी लायबिलिटी होती है। बिल्कुल नेहा, यू आर राइट। चलिए, नाउ वी हैव दिस नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, डैश प्रिस्क्राइब्स द मैनर इन व्हिच अ कंपनी शुड प्रिपेयर इट्स फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स। हाँ गौरव, ये फिर आ गया, कोई बात नहीं, चला जाएगा, उससे पता लग जाता है बीच में बोर हो रहे हैं और फटाफट से आ जाता है। आई एम गेटिंग द आंसर इज ऑप्शन नंबर बी एंड सी। रजत सर ने पढ़ाया कि नहीं पढ़ाया? सर हमें तो रजत सर ने बहुत अच्छे से पढ़ाया हुआ है कि इसका आंसर हमारे पास होगा ऑप्शन नंबर बी। हमारी जो कंपनी फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट बनाती है, जो कंपनी हमारी जो भी कुछ भी काम कर रही है, इट इज गवर्न्ड बाय द कंपनीज एक्ट। आपका कंपनीज एक्ट 2013 जो है वो उन्हें गवर्न करता है। तो कंपनीज एक्ट 2013 के अंदर वी आल्सो हैव दिस फॉर्मेट अकॉर्डिंग टू व्हिच द फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट्स, द बैलेंस शीट and the profit and loss account of the companies, they have to be made, and this is given in the schedule 3 to the companies act 2013. So that's why the answer is going to be option number B. So that's why the answer is option number B, and you guys have answered it correctly as well. बहुत intelligent audience है हमारी, all of you are prepared for the upcoming SEBI exam, it's good to see. Next question, trade payables are shown in the balance sheet under which head? I'm getting the answer is option number B and C. B and C, confusion. Trade payables. So जेठालाल ने LCDs खरीदे थे 1 lakh के, and they were bought on credit. Okay, so it gave rise to some trade payables, or we can also call them creditors. Okay, they are our creditors. We have to make payment to them. We have bought some goods on credit. Now creditors are going to be there, and we have to pay the money to the creditors. So this is basically a liability. So it is going to be shown on the liability side. Now what kind of liability is it? So liabilities we generally classify into two, and current liability. So short term liability is going to be your current liability, जिसकी पेमेंट आप विद इन अ ईयर कर देंगे, इट इज अ करंट लायबिलिटी, एंड जिसकी पेमेंट आप बहुत लंबे टाइम के बाद करने वाले हैं, दे आर रेफर टू एज द नॉन करंट लायबिलिटी. सो क्रेडिटर्स को वी आर गोइंग टू शो इन करंट लायबिलिटी, but suppose you have taken a loan from the bank for 5 years, so this is going to be your non current liability. This is a long term liability. Okay, So this trade payable is going to come under the current liability. So this is something that you have to learn. Okay, अगर आपको learn नहीं होता तो इसका screenshot लेके you just paste it on your wall or set it as a screensaver or like wallpaper on your phone. These are the sides which are there in the balance sheet of a company. On one side we have the equity and liabilities, and on the other side we have the assets. So equity and liability side को अगर आप देखेंगे तो एक तरफ we have the shareholders fund. So this is basically the capital part. Capital is also called as equity, other name is equity. And then we have the liabilities. Liabilities, they have been bifurcated into non-current liability. They are basically long-term liabilities. And then we have current liabilities, which are your short-term liabilities. Similarly, some assets, they are long-term assets, so they are being called as the non-current assets. So whatever building, machinery, furniture you are going to buy, it is a non-current asset. And some are going to be your current assets. So the cash which you are having with you, the bank balance, some debtors you have, some stock that you are having, some short-term investments you have made. So all of these, they are going to be shown under the current assets. Okay, so this is how you have to remember. Yeah, account payable और creditor बिल्कुल same है. Account payable, creditor, trade payable, जैसे भगवान के अलग अलग नाम है वैसे ही क्रेडिटर के अलग अलग नाम है. सो आंसर इज ऑप्शन नंबर सी. चलिए, आई होप यू हैव अंडरस्टूड द फॉर्मेट इन द प्रीवियस स्लाइड. इन्वेंट्रीज आर शोन इन द बैलेंस शीट अंडर विच हेड? सर इन्वेंट्री स्टॉक को ही बोलते हैं ना. राइट, इन्वेंट्री इज अनदर नेम फॉर स्टॉक, फॉर गुड्स. तो जेठालाल जी की दुकान पे गड़ा इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स पे सम स्टॉक इज देयर. Now, in which head are you going to record this stock in the balance sheet? Is this an asset? Nikhil, Suraksha, Anupama, Neha, all of these guys are saying ki this is an current asset. This is a current asset. And again, you are really brilliant. Okay, everyone is really brilliant. It is definitely a current asset. I've already explained to you all these things. So it is going to be shown under the current asset. Why current asset? Because whatever stock we are going to have, we are going to maybe sell it in a very short amount of time. ऐसा नहीं होगा कि जेठालाल गड़ा इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स पे जो स्टॉक रखा हुआ है उसको 5 years के बाद बेचने वाले हैं. He is going to assume कि this stock is going to be sold in the current year itself, and that's why it is a current asset. So that's why the answer is option number A. Now quickly coming on to the next question. Which of the following is not shown as a part of shareholder fund under the equity and liability side of the balance sheet? So let's see कौन इसका आंसर सही देता है. सर आप तो बैलेंस शीट के पीछे पड़ गए. यू नो ऐसे क्वेश्चन आपके एग्जामिनेशन में आते हैं, सो दैट्स व्हाई. Is not shown, not shown. ADE, confusion. C आंसर भी आ गया. कंफ्यूजन इज गोइंग ऑन. कोई लोग तो पीछे वीडियो को करके देख रहे हैं कि क्या आ रहा था क्या नहीं आ रहा था. तो आप लोग तो लेट हो, आप लोग तो गलत हो जी. तो आइए देख लेते हैं क्या आता है क्या नहीं आता. तो इक्विटी और लायबिलिटी साइड पे अगर हम आ गए तो यहाँ पे आपको एक चीज दिख रही है, शेयर होल्डर फंड, जो कि बेसिकली मैं आपको कह रहा था कैपिटल. सो इफ वी हैव अ कंपनी, तो कंपनी के अंदर ओनली वन ओनर जेठालाल तो नहीं होंगे, है ना. इफ यू हैव अ पब्लिक कंपनी, इफ यू हैव रिलायंस, इन्फोसिस एटसेट्रा, मेनी पीपल आर गोइंग टू बी द शेयर होल्डर्स ऑफ दैट कंपनी. So here we are going to represent it as shareholder fund. So shareholder fund हमारे पास क्या क्या होने वाला है? So it is going to have the share capital, the shares which have been issued to the people, and we may have some profits which have been earned by the company, and these profits, they belong to the shareholders and they are being written under the head reserves and surplus. Okay. And we also have this particular item, money received against share warrant. So you can also sometimes issue share warrant. तो आपने जिनको शेयर वारंट इशू कर दिए, they are eventually going to become your shareholders. Okay, so that's why it is also recorded under the shareholder fund. Share application money which is pending for allotment. So you have got the application money but you have not allotted the shares. It is shown separately. It is shown separately in the balance sheet, and that's why this is not going to form part of the shareholder fund. So this was a technical question. This was a technical question and the answer is going to be option number D. So I wanted to check कि कितने सो रहे हैं, कितने जाग रहे हैं. So कुछ तो लोग तो सो चुके हैं, कुछ लोग सो चुके हैं. सर आप अकाउंटिंग को लोरी की तरह पढ़ा रहे हैं और इसलिए नींद आ गई थी. उठ जाइए फटाफट से और इस क्वेश्चन का आंसर दीजिए. अमृता, एग्जामिनेशन तक थिंक वाला पार्ट हमने हटा देना है, आपको श्योर वाले पार्ट पे ले आना है, जैसे अंशु कह रहे हैं. All of the following are tools of the financial statement analysis of a company except I'm looking for the correct answers here. Brilliant minds are saying D, others are saying B, others are saying option B. Okay, so let's talk about the tools of the financial statement analysis. तो आपको सेबी में जाना है. सेबी अल्टीमेटली कंपनीज की फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट से कंसर्न्ड है. सो यू शुड बी अवेयर अबाउट द टूल्स ऑफ द फाइनेंशियल स्टेटमेंट एनालिसिस ऑफ अ कंपनी. So here we have these different tools. We have comparative statement, we have common size statement, we have trend analysis, we have ratio analysis. Standard costing is something which is in the costing part of your SEBI syllabus as well. So you could have easily answered कि सर ये तो costing का part होता है तो इसको हम यहाँ पे include नहीं करेंगे. So standard costing is going to be your answer. Sir, answer तो समझ में आ गया, but if you could briefly tell us about all these statements. So comparative statement, they are very simple. So what we are trying to do, हम financial year 2021 की statements बना रहे हैं, तो उसके साथ we add another column and we also mention the figures belonging to the previous year 2020. So comparison is possible. Okay, common size statement. So common size statement में भी हम 2 years की figures को लिख रहे हैं, but we are writing it in percentage terms. Okay, so your total assets, they are 100%, and in 2021 your fixed assets, they were 60% and current assets 40%, and in 2020 your fixed assets and current assets, they were both 50-50%. Okay, so we are going to provide a common size. So we are going to say the size is common, the size is 100%, and how this size was divided into different items of the balance sheet or the profit and loss statement. So this is what we are trying to do. And trend analysis is simply trying to look at a trend. So we are going to have the figures of different years and we are going to try to get a trend. So there may be an upward trend, there may be a downward trend. ऐसा कुछ economics में भी आपको मैम ने पढ़ाया होगा. And ratio analysis, we are computing different ratios. Most popular ratio, current ratio. Okay, current ratio के बारे में आपने पढ़ा होगा. It is simply your current assets divided by current liabilities. So ratio analysis is also a tool of the analysis of the financial statements. So answer is option B, standard costing. Yeah, standard costing is part of the techniques of cost analysis. Absolutely right. चलिए, आई होप कि आपको मैंने फाइनेंशियल एनालिसिस के टूल्स के बारे में बताया, तो यू वुड बी इजीली एबल टू आंसर दिस क्वेश्चन. सो नाउ यू हैव टू टेल कि गिवन बिलो इज द केस ऑफ. बताइए कौन सी स्टेटमेंट है ये, कौन सी स्टेटमेंट आपको यहां पे दिख रही है. ए बी सी सभी आंसर्स दे दिया आपने, छोड़ा कौन सा है. स्टेटमेंट ऑफ बैलेंसेस तो कोई होती नहीं है, ये तो ऐसे ही बनाया मैंने. पोजीशन स्टेटमेंट इज सिंपली योर बैलेंस शीट. ये बैलेंस शीट तो है ही नहीं है. जो बैलेंस शीट कह रहे हैं वो तो बिल्कुल ही गलत कह रहे हैं. आपकी प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस की स्टेटमेंट है. इसमें आपके रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंसेस आ रहे हैं, एसेट लायबिलिटी थोड़ी आ रहे हैं. एसेट लायबिलिटी बैलेंस शीट में आते हैं, उसे पोजीशन स्टेटमेंट बोलते हैं, बट इनकम एक्सपेंस तो आपके प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस में आते हैं. तो ये बेसिकली आपकी क्या होने वाली है. तो यहाँ पे हमने 2 years का डाटा जो है वो पुट इन किया, and we tried to find out the increase and decrease, and we also tried to find the increase or decrease in percentage terms. So this is how the comparative statement is prepared. Okay, 2 साल की फिगर्स को लिखा, उसके बाद हमने देखा कि इंक्रीज या डिक्रीज, and then we try to compute the percentage increase or decrease. So this is how the comparative statements they are prepared. So we can also do this for balance sheet and for the statement of profit or loss. So I wanted to show you guys ki how comparative statements they are prepared, and I hope I am successful here. So answer is option A. Now let's quickly come to the next question. And let's see कि किनको सही से आज की क्लास समझ में आया. This is a final test for you guys. Sir, we would have to solve this one, ना? Yeah. मैं अपना सॉल्व कर रहा हूं, आप अपना सॉल्व कीजिए. नो चीटिंग. बैलेंस शीट की 2 साइड होती हैं, एसेट और लायबिलिटी. ऐसे ही सर ने बताया था. सर ने बताया था कि दोनों साइड का टोटल मैच करता है. तो टोटल मैच करता है, तो टोटल मुझे एक साइड का दिया है, तो दोनों का तो 20 लाख ही होना चाहिए. दिस शुड बी द केस, राइट? नहीं, चीटिंग नहीं करनी. and here we are going to have नॉन करंट एसेट्स गिवन है, करंट एसेट तो गिवन नहीं है, नॉन करंट एसेट गिवन है 5 लाख के, क्रेडिटर्स दे आर गोइंग टू कम हियर 2 लाख के गिवन है, बट आई डोंट थिंक ये इन्फॉर्मेशन रेलेवेंट है, कंफ्यूज करने के लिए दिया है। तो अगर 20 लाख टोटल है, 5 लाख नॉन करंट एसेट है, तो करंट एसेट तो 15 लाख के होने चाहिए, आंसर सी होना चाहिए। आपका क्या आया? मेरा तो सी आया। मोस्ट ऑफ यू आर सेइंग ऑप्शन सी, some of you are giving different answers, so this is how I solved it. You guys can have your approaches, you can have your own approaches for this one. So this was a very simple question कि बैलेंस शीट की दोनों साइड मैच होनी चाहिए, and that's why the answer is going to be 15 lakh. ओके तो मैंने आपको यहाँ पे बता भी दिया कि टोटल अगर लाइबिलिटी साइड का 20 लाख है, एसेट साइड इज ऑल्सो गोइंग टू हैव द सेम टोटल, एंड नॉन करंट एसेट्स आपके पास गिवन थे 5 लाख के, सो करंट एसेट्स आर गोइंग टू बी द रिमेनिंग बैलेंस व्हिच इज 15 lakh. So now let's come to the last question for today. Let's see who gets a happy ending. चलिए सॉल्व कीजिए अच्छे से. The total of both the sides of the balance sheet is 10 lakh. Fixed assets of the enterprise, they are 4 lakh, and the balance, they are current assets. While preparing common size balance sheet, dash would be written adjacent to the current assets in the percentage column. तो मैं अपना सॉल्व करता हूँ. Manikant, creditors, the information it was just given to confuse you. It did not have any relevance in the question. तो मैं अपना सॉल्व करता हूं, आपसे पहले मैं आंसर निकालता हूं. सो बैलेंस शीट का टोटल दिया है और फिक्स्ड एसेट्स दिए हैं. आई डू दिस थिंग, मैं तो एसेट लायबिलिटी फटाफट से लिख डालता हूं. फिक्स्ड एसेट मुझे दिए हैं 4 लाख के, ओके, एंड टोटल मुझे दिया है 10 लाख का. सो करंट एसेट कितने के हो जाएंगे? करंट एसेट 6 लाख के हो जाएंगे. कॉमन साइज बैलेंस शीट बनानी है तो परसेंटेज कॉलम में क्या आएगा? तो सर ने बताया था कि कॉमन साइज में ना हम 100% लिख लेते हैं, टोटल को 100% लिख लेते हैं और उसको डिवाइड कर देते हैं. डिवाइड किस में करेंगे? फिक्स्ड एसेट 40% हो गए और 6 लाख यानी कि करंट एसेट 60% हो गए, है ना. 10 लाख का 40% और 60% हो गए. तो करंट एसेट के साथ मेरा तो 60% आ रहा है, आप लोगों का क्या आ रहा है? अरे बाप रे बाप, एवरीवन इज सेइंग ऑप्शन नंबर बी. आपने तो मुझसे पहले निकाल लिया, लगता है कि कल आपको क्लास लेनी पड़ेगी मेरी. So answer is option number B, 60%. Okay, so guys, this is all about today's discussion. And if you found the today's discussion useful or fruitful, do mention in the comment box. It would be really motivational for me and the team. These are the kinds of questions which are going to be there, brilliant minds, in the examination. We are also going to have a look at the previous year questions which have been asked in the SEBI and PFRD exam from this accounting section. So that we are going to do on day 4. So you are going to see कि कैसे आपको इस लेवल के क्वेश्चंस ही एग्जाम में पूछे जाते हैं. ओके, मोस्ट वेलकम गौरव, इट वाज नाइस. दिस डिस्कशन वाज रियली नाइस विद यू गाइस. मोस्ट वेलकम अंशु, अनुपमा, या डबल थम्स अप विनायक. आई होप नॉन कॉमर्स वालों को भी समझ में आया. I don't have any information with regard to admit cards as of now. I believe EduTap is going to share with you as soon as this notification comes. Most welcome Nikhil, Indu, Amit, Abhinav, Amruta, Surbhi. या नेहा, कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर इवेंचुअली बिकम रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर. तो अगर आपने 1 लाख स्पेंड किया, यू आर गोइंग टू डिवाइड इट इनटू 5 पार्ट्स, एंड दीज 5 पार्ट्स दे आर बेसिकली द रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर. मोस्ट वेलकम मोनिका, मानव, Manikant. I'm not the one to say कि exam postpone होगा या नहीं. I'm just going to say to you कि be prepared for the exam. Maybe postponed, but definitely it is going to be conducted. So you have to prepare for it ultimately. Maybe today or maybe day after tomorrow. You have to prepare for it. So why not prepare now? Most welcome Rick Jackson. Most welcome Neha. Depreciation is going concern or matching principle? Yeah, Vinay is having this question. So I believe you are asking about that question that we had. Where did it go? Yeah, so we had this question, and इस question में तो आपका matching principle का तो option ही नहीं था ना. So that's why it is going to come into going concern concept. So ऐसा हो सकता है कि आपका कोई भी कंसेप्ट है, आपकी कोई भी ट्रांजेक्शन है, इट मे बी रिलेटेड टू मल्टीपल कंसेप्ट्स। हाँ, तो मैचिंग प्रिंसिपल से भी आपका डेप्रिसिएशन रिलेटेड है। यू आर गोइंग टू यूज द एसेट फॉर मल्टीपल पीरियड्स एंड टू मेक श्योर कि सारा एक्सपेंडिचर आपका 1 ईयर में ना आ जाए, यू आर गोइंग टू हैव दिस depreciation which is going to be spread over multiple years. Okay, so matching concept is also going to have a role here, but यहाँ पे matching concept तो option में नहीं है ना, तो इसलिए going concern का आंसर दिया। मोस्ट वेलकम नेहा। रेवेन्यू एंड कैपिटल एक्सपेंडिचर तो मैंने आपको बता दिया अंशु। वर्टिकल बैलेंस शीट, यस। अगर बैलेंस शीट की मैं बात करूं तो बैलेंस शीट को हम दो तरीके से बना सकते हैं, बट कंपनीज एक्ट का जो फॉर्मेट है वहां पे वर्टिकल फॉर्मेट है। वर्टिकल इज लाइक दिस, वर्टिकल इज लाइक दिस कि हमने यहाँ पे ऊपर लिख दिया इक्विटी एंड लायबिलिटी, ओके, दिस इज सिंपली योर लायबिलिटी साइड, एंड नीचे वी मेंशन एसेट्स, सो दिस इज द वर्टिकल फॉर्मेट। ओके, आपका हॉरिजॉन्टल फॉर्मेट इज समथिंग लाइक दिस, it is something like this, assets and liabilities. Okay, most welcome Manikant, most welcome Pooja. I hope you have got all your queries answered. So I think I should end this discussion now. Should I end it? Yes, I think I should end it. Okay guys, take care, bye bye, all the best. We are going to meet you tomorrow as well, so be there on time. Bye. अंशु, डेफर्ड रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर होता है कुछ, इफेक्टिव रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर नहीं। आई बिलीव यू आर कंफ्यूजिंग द टर्म्स। डेफर्ड रेवेन्यू एक्सपेंडिचर होता है लाइक इफ यू स्पेंड सो मच ऑफ द अमाउंट ऑन एडवर्टाइजमेंट, so this is a revenue expenditure basically, but we are going to defer it over multiple periods and we call it deferred revenue expenditure. Then it might be related to economics. Effective revenue deficit, I think you are talking about that, or that is related to budgeting. वो आपका economics से जुड़ा हुआ है, वो आपका economics से जुड़ा हुआ है, वो accounting से जुड़ा हुआ specifically नहीं है। Okay, okay guys, bye.